Hi, everyone, and welcome to Esxence on Air, to the workshop on artistic perfumery in China. I am Karen Marin. I'll be your host. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm a longtime industry veteran who's worked in retail, buying, merchandising, brand building, and other things. But now I am on the editorial board at Esxence, where I write and create most of the original content. Okay, so joining me is to dive into this topic is Meg Zhou. So Meg, it's nice to see you. Welcome.
Hi, Karen. Nice to see you here.
Nice.
I'm Meg. I live in France. Since 10 years before, when I moved to France, I began to do export cosmetics to China market. It interested me so that currently I work with TME Consultancy, helping indie brands go to China. Thank
Oh,
you.
great. Well, I thought it would be really helpful for our audience if you could talk about some of your observations of brands that launched on the market, that were successful, that the steps that they took to enter the market and to get going and to be a success in China.
Sure. With what I observe for the China market, let me just take example with two brands, Byredo and Diptyque.
Okay.
You see, both brands are successfully launched and developed in China. And from their China entry history, I found that there are something similar. So let me just take three similarity. The first one, both of them has built a clear and diverse brand image. It's very important for China market. So Byredo emphasizes it as a brand of simplified ingredients compared to other competitive brands. It outperforms with several hero products with its fragrance suitable for the China market. And to have a few instead of only one bestseller fragrance is key to ruin the market, especially in China for Chinese customers. Diptyque defines itself as an art of fragrance, interpreted by senses, captured in different journeys. There is a strong story to tell about each fragrance to interact with the customers, which is very useful, efficacious, and important in marketing. So that's the first point. And for the second point is that before launch, both brands have thoroughly done a ground study and set a solid strategy for the China market. Both brands positioning of a high-end, targeting high-end customers. A diptyque, it enters only the most high-end uh, um, shopping mall offline stores in only the first tier and the second tier cities in China. And what's more, with a very high-end Chinese name, I translated it directly in English. It's boutique beauty to distinguish itself from others. So it's very impressive for the China consumers.
Okay.
Um, and then both brands, both Byredo and Diptyque, they launch limited editions specifically for for China market, that please a lot. And then both they pay attention to develop new fragrance and the trend for the market also. And each year they carry out Christmas edition for China market, or maybe it's also for the international one. But in China market, there's always Christmas edition. And Chinese people now they celebrate also Christmas, so
Okay. So
it's
it's
very important.
important. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the last one will be I noticed that both brand they have invested on their own brand image building, and they participate in daily operation. They supervise. Let me just give a reserved, a rough figure about how much they invest in marketing each year. I think around or at least 1 million RMB, at least.
Okay. Which
Mm.
you told me that's about is
Uh,
around
yes,
100,000 euro.
yes, around 125,000 euro.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
And they invest both online and offline channels, not only one. So both online and offline. Online, for example, they invested for the social media, official brand account management, influencers, seeding, live streaming, SEO, and etc. And
Okay.
offline, there's an offline pop-up store event, a sniffing salon, and a PR event. Uh, take Diptyque as an example. Each year, they launches at least 5 to 6 campaigns.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
so that's what that's three things I can find similar to their successful launch in China for both brands.
Okay. So if we kind of summarize it, it's about coming with a clear brand image that's different from the competitors. It's having studied the market and having a clear strategy of how to
Exactly.
launch, where to launch, um, and being aware of the specific preferences in the market, and then
Yes.
having limited editions that or launches that correspond to that,
Yes.
and then being active on social media, building the community, and then having the activities in store. But also, I left out to be very selective on your distribution and to only go into the best quality
Yes.
locations.
To correspondence, their brand positioning.
Yeah, brand positioning is key at the start,
Yes.
to stay successful.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, great. Well, tell me, I mean, now I'd like to go into what you see as challenges and opportunities in the market. So, um, what would you say are some of the, maybe let's start with opportunities. What do you think are some of the biggest ones in the market?
And let's start with the opportunity first.
Sure.
Okay, so with the opportunity, I think before the when the brands who reject the animal test, they can only choose online channel. They cannot go to offline channel. But now, since few months, and not few months, maybe 1 month since the May, the Chinese government beginning to cancel the animal test. So it's a very friendly policy and regulations from the Chinese government. A lot of cruelty-free I think it's the case of many niche perfume brands can go to China both online and offline. So it's a very good opportunity.
Oh,
And
definitely. That was a big switch for them to stop the animal testing and or to be in the process of doing it. And yeah, you're right. For cruelty-free brands, it's a great opportunity.
yes. And for the second opportunity, that as we all know that China is a huge market, that we have 1.3 million population with a very vast and increasing middle class. And people have more higher disposable spending. And it's an opportunity for foreign brands as well. And let's see, and then uh, let me see. Let me just check. And the perfume industry is still in its early stage in for China market. With a very low market penetration. So we can see its marketing share is increasing at a high compound annual growth rate, around 13.5%. So it's a huge rate. And with the statics study, it shows that a niche perfume, it has a great potential.
Yeah, I think that the customer appreciates it because it's different and it allow and especially the younger client is very interested in fragrance, and going with niche is a way of personalization. It's a way of identifying themselves or standing apart from everyone else. Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
with the young millennial and the Generation Z. For now in China, they have very strong design to express themselves. They want to try something different, different from their parents, the
that's
trend, the tradition. So it's a great opportunity for some indie brands and niche one.
Do you think, we didn't talk about this before, but do you think there's certain fragrance families they're more interested in, or is it across most, it's
I
across?
think it's a very interesting question. I think traditionally, or the past few years, victims that the China market loves floral, citrus, uh, or fruity floral, some fragrance family like that. But it's very interesting that recently the woody has a very increasing increase in
Okay.
China. Mm.
So it's really a very diverse palette of fragrances.
Yes, it evolves.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. That's good to know. Um, and are there anything else, or shall we talk about the challenges?
Yes, yes. Let's move to the challenges. I
Okay.
think which would be more interesting for brands because it helpful for them when they go to China market. It's it's more important to pay attention for the challenges.
Certainly.
So the first, I think niche perfume in China will face intensive competition from two catalogs within the perfume. First one is international brands. Uh, because it win because it's the leadership position. It's with its reputation. Many people knows that. And
Yes.
then a second one is from the domestic Chinese brand. In fact, around 30% of the perfume share now in China is from the Chinese domestic brand. And
30%. 30%
30, around
from
30% according to my
local brands.
info.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's important.
and they Chinese domestic brands, they outperform with the low cost, but they provide customers with a very attractive and interesting experience.
Okay.
Yeah, so customers, they are very likely, they are easily to switch the choices among these three categories. So it's intense from the rivals, intense competitions from the rivals. The first thing.
Which also means it's a challenge for the brands to keep the consumer loyal.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
And the second challenge I would say is that China now it's a digit first market, and it's fast moving and constantly changing. It's very quick. We have to make efforts to keep a step with it. And here in China also the e-commerce evolves rapidly, and the marketing is ultra competitive. And yeah,
I think you see more development coming from China that comes to the rest of the world later because they were live streaming before everyone else.
yes,
They were shopping on apps before everyone else. So they're that much further ahead of the rest of the world. So, like you said, it's very fast. And to keep
it,
track of what's the newest technology is a challenge.
exactly.
Yeah.
And in fact, since when I communicate with some brand owners, sometimes I have impression that everyone thinks that oh, China is huge. There are a lot of opportunities. Let's go there. But behind that, I think there's something we have to be aware that it's very competitive. That maybe. It's only the top three or top five or top 10 brands in the catalog contribute the sales revenues. But we cannot see hundreds, thousands of brands behind that they don't have any sales revenue. You see,
Oh,
so it's what I mean.
okay.
So, so I think the brand has to be has to learn it very carefully and well prepared and optimize themselves to keep the same step with the China to get successful.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Anything else you want to add?
So and then there's two or three little brands that and for me now China it's a omni-channel ecosystem. We cannot only do one thing to win the market. We have to do the comprehensive one. It's very important. And brands, I observe that the brands who invest in the marketing have higher opportunities to win. And then the last one, I would say it's local localization. Marketing localization in China, then just for example, to find the right partner, to have
Yes.
the right assets, marketing, product mix, product development program, even production capacity, pricing, and etc.
Yeah, because it's specific. So, but definitely, as you were saying before, it's a digital first market where probably for a brand, the best place to start their investment is online. But they should already have a digital presence that then, but I think also we need to remind people that, Instagram and YouTube is not in China. They have their own platforms, so they have their own versions of these channels that they then need to be present on. And that's where you need to, maybe it's the same kind of material, but it needs to be on the right platform that's in the local market.
Yeah, yes, but it's very interesting when you mentioned Instagram and YouTube. We don't have this in China, but one thing is very important is that brands has to build their brand image inside China and outside China. In fact, it's very important to build the YouTube and Instagram, even if the vast Chinese consumers don't see. But there's there's someone that, for example, KOL, they follow the Instagrams, they take the pictures, they share with their fancies.
Yeah. Yeah, so it is still important, but in China it's a different they're different platforms altogether, and a different way that they're used and such.
Yes, we have to work at China speed in a China way.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I wanted to ask you your opinion on festivals, because we always read about the volume of sales done on festivals, and what is your opinion about festivals and brands, or for example, what have you seen Byredo or Diptyque do during some of the festivals, like the Singles Day and the one coming up in a few weeks, the 618. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, in fact, the festivals in China contribute a lot of sales revenues. It's true, and because of that, I think many people think that a festival is related a high discount. Yes, it is true, but as far as the niche perfume is concerned, we are very we pay very much attention not to lower the price. So it's true, but anyway, for me, festival in China, it's a very good thing for brand uh, to have the exposure. But and we will talk about the discounted price. In fact, we can have other methods to avoid price impact.
Yeah, I read that maybe for niche brands, it's good to do limited edition, or um, a gift, something that's not about discounting the price of the product, but
Yes,
maybe,
we give the extra
yeah.
cadeau, we give the discover need. We make only the special edition only for this festival. After all, you will not fund it. We change the packaging. There are many methods to avoid a heavy discount, in fact. But the positive is that it's a very good opportunity for brand to expose.
Okay. And the last question I'm going to ask you is about influencers and key opinion leaders. And I know it's a big topic, but how do you find the right one?
Oh, it's really a very challenge topic, how to find the right one. Since now China market, there are many KOL influencers, KOC, you see. So it's really really difficult to answer in few words. But I just let's just say that if you find a good KOL, it helps a lot for your brand to interact with your fancies, with your audience. For audience, they follow the KOL who they trust. With their endorsement, it's easier to to have the impression and then transfer time into the preference and then after last the purchase. So so I think I just read an article saying that in China the influence and the KOL marketing becomes more and more expertise. So brands, even some traditional marketing team, they are cooperating with such kind of team just to find the right KOL with their brand positioning, and then to have the suitable match between the brand and the KOL.
It's an opportunity and a challenge at the same time.
Exactly, exactly.
Well, listen, Meg, thank you so much for your time today. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and we'll hopefully see you soon at another event or in Milan next year.
Me too. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye. So now I am joined by Song Yuan Jessica, which thank you so much for being here. Um, Song, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your experiences?
Hello, all the friends from Esxence. I'm Song Yuan, and I'm your old friend. And I'm the founder of Perexpo Group China, the parent company of Menachide and Nikolai China, you know. And I'm also a key opinion leader in China. It's very nice to meet you all here.
So, pleasure to have you. I thought it would be helpful to share with our audience some insight on how brands have launched in China, what they've done to be successful, what steps they took. So if you could share a story that would be interesting for our audience.
Okay. Well, actually, several niche perfume brands are doing very well in China. Let's say, such as Diptyque, Jo Malone, and Bacchilian, and etc. But we all know that they are affiliated to the big group or private equity fund. So today, I prefer to share a successful case of Nicolai Paris because it is still the independent perfume brand. And for Nicolai in 2017, contracted with Zhou Trade, that is the subsidiary company of our group, and start, to form the Nicolai China team. And I think there were 3 steps for Nicolai China team, to the brand, to explore the mainland China market. I think for the first step, it would be in 2018. They started to register their products to the government. But at the same time, they are doing cross-border e-commerce mode business. This is very important. You can do, both of the different models at the same time. And I would say this is very, very early stage for the brand in China market, because although there were a lot of fans or perfume lovers already knew this Nicolai Paris, but in China is still not that famous brand. So you have to do several things on internet and social media. I think what they did right was that they do key opinion leader seatings very well. And they also do sniffing salons. Both these two things are, telling your own stories and artistic creativity to the potential customers. And they also, gained the free advertisement from their online retailer partner. This is also important because it's free. And at last, they did a very good strategy on the selection of their creations, because they selected only two pieces of their masterpiece to promote. That made the results can focus on one or two creations. I think that is a good strategy for the brand on their initial stage. Okay, the second steps is on 2019, after the registration to the government, they opened Nicolai China opened their first mono-brand boutique in Shanghai in IPM Mall. It's a very high-end mall. And the mall itself, became the very important advertisement for the very ordinary customers in China. And at the same time, Nicolai China team did a lot pop-up activities and artistic exhibitions, in the shopping malls and the public area of the city, to generate the ordinary consumers, and to show the uniqueness and creativity and the story behind the brand. I think this is quite important for artistic brand, because we don't have, too much money to invest, but what we have is real inspiration and artistic stories. And for the third step, until now, it's still on the third step, is the expansion. I think expansion from where to where? Expansion from the perfume lover cluster of people to the ordinary customers, because you have to have this step to do the expansion. And to do this, for doing this, they did two things. The first would be they opened two more mono brand boutiques in China. It's in Hangzhou City and Shanghai City, two different cities. And the second thing would be they opened their Tmall online official shop. I think this April, to generate more public traffic and attention. It's also for the ordinary customers. So Karen, this is what Nicolai did and the path of their growth. Yeah, that's the story.
Can you tell us about the artistic exhibition? What did it look like? What elements did they use?
Usually for the artistic exhibition, the brand will show their strongest art creativity in that exhibition. Let's say for example, Nicolai is the Parisian culture and the material, the ingredients they use, and the creativity from Patricia and Nicolai. And they will focus on the process of what Nicolai is making by artistic perfume, differentiate the brand from the commercial ones, because we all know the commercial ways of doing perfume.
Sure. It's very educational then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
And you said they started with just several fragrances, not the entire assortment. So a limited assortment in the beginning.
Yeah. Yes, that is also important. I mean, it's for for promotion to promote, but not to register only two. They registered 20 perfumes, I think.
Ah, okay. So they
And,
sold online too,
yeah, online.
while registering 20.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. Well, tell me now, what do you see are some challenges in the market?
There were a lot of challenges, in the market. I would draw 3 points. The first point would be, yes, it's the gray market. It's very terrible thing, because the gray
Yes.
market always sell the products in very low price, only 1/3 of the listed price. So I would like to, to tell the brand who wants to be in China market, I think they would, manage their international distribution line and chains better. Otherwise, the brand image will be destroyed that much. And for the second challenge, I think, is customer education, what we just discussed a little bit. I think the customers in China still now that understand what is, the commercial brand, what is the artistic brand, and what the difference between these two types of brands. So we have to tell them the brand uniqueness, and I think to show your real inspiration and creation, via KOLs or TVs or social media, your official channel. Yes. And for the third challenge I found in the market was, and the digital way in China growing bigger and bigger, and more and more important, and people tend to buy anything on internet, and a part of them are willing to do so. They have the habit. So, but the perfume itself, if I purchase a perfume, I cannot smell it on the same time online. Yeah. So I have to, it's better for me to smell it or sniff it before I purchase it online. So what I want to say is that maybe samples and trials, let's say, for example, discover kits, became more and more important in China market, because the customers can try before they buy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also then with the gray market, so then finding your distributor is really important to be sure it's someone you can trust that won't somehow your product would end up on gray market. So really finding that distributor that works well with the brand and that respects the brand is quite important.
Yeah, I should say so. Yeah. And
Yeah.
usually the gray market things, the smuggling things, are, always from the same several areas. So it's
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's talk about opportunities now. What do you see as opportunity?
Yes, of course. China market for the big perfume industry, um, is, rapidly growing for these years, and the numbers and the quantities are, growing uh, very fast. Um, so I think that part of it from the standard of living is improving in China for ordinary people. So more and more people curious and interested in perfume. And I would say that for artistic perfume, the small category is still a minority, not a majority of the perfume industry in China. But that that means it has too much potential to to grow, and it can accelerate the market. And for the second opportunity I can observe from the market is that more and more international niche brands come to China to open boutiques, to open counters. I think this is a very good very good thing for all the artistic brands for in this market, because the atmosphere is stronger and stronger for the consumer. The consumer will see, oh, there is a cluster of perfume called artistic perfume, and what's the difference between artistic and the ordinary, the commercials. So this is, I think, is a very good time to come to China market for niche brand, but still you need patience, because the market is huge. You have to invest, and you have to have the patience to make sustainable growth and development in this market. And the last opportunity I can see is that um, I think the government is friendly. We can say that it's friendly to the artistic perfume brands, because in previous time, all of the perfumes must be registered, and after the registration, you can sell countrywide. This is the only way. But in recent years, the government open or create a new way called cross-border e-commerce. We all know that. That means small brand can, without registration, to come to China. And as I know, that animal testing policy is also changing, although it's not a one-step thing. It will come true finally, step by step. But I should say the direction is very friendly to the artistic perfumes.
Sure. So definitely the population growing, the standard of living improving, the people aspirations to buy and to have things that they didn't have in the past, to also the growing middle class, which is a huge opportunity, and also that fragrance usage wasn't necessarily part of the culture, but now it's being, not for on the body, but it's something that people are enjoying, and they are pursuing it. So like you said, the artisan brands are different, and people can see the quality and the 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 craftsmanship that goes into the product, and it's a clear difference from what we would call standard brands or legacy brands that are on the market.
Yeah, yeah, you are right.
Okay, so let me ask you just more questions about your opinion on festivals. The festivals, like one's coming soon, 6/18. There's Singles Day in November. What do you think about these for artistic brands?
Okay, we usually, carry a very prudent attitude to these so-called festivals. The reason was that there are a lot of discounting, always have a lot of discounting. And not only the niche brand, but I can see a lot of commercial brands, or now that high end, let's say maybe low end brand, not only perfume but cosmetics, everything,
Right.
were doing the discounting during these festivals. So I don't think this would be a very proper time for these artistic brands to, you know, participate these festivals. But I would say that maybe if you have some new creation, or you will have some new ideas to draw the public's, you know, attention, yes, you can release during these festivals. But I don't think discounting is necessary.
No, and it's certainly not what an artisan brand wants to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, last question. Tell me about KOLs and influencers.
that's that's a very big issue, you know, Karen.
I
Yes,
know.
for, yeah, so for me, for myself, is a key opinion leader in China online. And I was writing on Weibo and also WeChat channel. I have nearly, I think, 1 million followers. But you
You
know
have
that
1 million followers.
yeah,
Wow,
in
that's
China,
impressive.
yeah, we don't use Instagram, we don't use Facebook and Twitter, but we use the China version of these
Right.
things, Weibo, WeChat, and so on. So I think for our KOLs, um, we are very important, you know, for the artistic brand when it is, you know, on the very initial stage of establishment in China, because we are telling the stories, we are telling the mission and the value proposition behind the brand to the public. Yeah, so I think this is a very important step. And yeah, and the seedings as well, if you have new creation every year. So yeah, anyway, it's a very complicated, you know, issue. We can talk, you know, another 40 to 15 minutes if you want.
I know. We need a seminar in Milan on this topic next year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I hope I can participate next year's Exxons, because we're looking forward to that for quite a long time.
indeed. Well, thank you so much for your time today and your insight. And we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Karen. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
So typically, there are two ways that most brands enter China. It's either through a cross-border process, it's called cross-border, um, which allows a brand only to sell online. And that is the easiest route to take. Not that it's easy, but it's the easiest route to take at this time. And then the second way is through through going through the lengthy and costly registration process with the government. However, it allows the flexibility of selling both online and in store. So what's important with what Song told us with Nikolai is that Nikolai decided to um, start the registration process for their entire selection of 20 fragrances that they brought into China. But at the same time, they did cross-border only with 2 fragrances. So that way they began to build a brand notoriety on the market online while the registration was happening. And once that happened, they were already a bit of a known entity, and then they could launch both in shops and continue the online sales. So that's just a little side note on how most brands enter the market. And and so in this workshop, we talked about, a couple of successful brands, how they launched. We talked about the opportunities and the challenges. We talked a little bit about the festivals and the point of view of is it something to do or not to do? Definitely brands want to protect their integrity and price positioning, because once it's discounted, you really can't go back. So that's a big warning. But you can still participate with exclusives or with new launches, or with a new technology that you bring out, new product line. So there is still opportunity. And then the last point would, of course, be the key opinion leaders and how important that is, and finding the right one, because we know that it's a huge influence on the consumer, and they look to these people for guidance and for education and for suggestions on products, and finding the right thing for them. So I hope you've enjoyed the workshop, and I look forward to seeing you in the other ones, which will be on the Middle East and the United States. See you later. Bye for now.